Despite what the word may suggest upon initial glance, a pronoun does not refer to a professional noun, as unfortunate as that is. In fact, a pronoun is kind of the opposite of a professional noun, in that a pronoun is merely a shadow of the noun it represents. From watching the previous noun video, we know that nouns are the A-list Hollywood stars of the English world, glamorous hair and all. If nouns are the stars, pronouns are their understudies, where they need to be ready to perform if and when their more famous and desired counterparts can't make it to the show. After all, the show must go on. I suppose one could think of pronouns as substitutes for nouns. No, they are never as good as the real thing, but they get the job done. However, this begs the question, why do we even bother with pronouns when we have nouns? Especially when nouns are obviously better in every way. This is an extremely fair question. Well, for one, we don't always know what noun to use in a given situation, but we obviously need something. When this happens, pronouns are what we turn to. Unlike nouns, pronouns are always there when you need them. Also, pronouns add variety to the English language, believe it or not. But wait, I hear you say, you just said that pronouns are inferior to nouns. Well, yeah, I did, but there is more to it. See, pronouns prevent annoyance on behalf of the reader, speaker, listener, etc. by eliminating constant repetition. Consider the following scenario. John is a man. John works at a bank. A coworker of John's borrows a pencil from John. First, let's identify our main subject, i.e., star of the show, which just so happens to be a noun. Which noun does the first sentence revolve around? Indeed, John is our main subject and is therefore our main noun. From a purely grammatical standpoint, there is nothing wrong with either of these three sentences. In terms of syntax, however, the paragraph is poorly written and is of course an absolute nightmare and disappointment. Why? Because there's too much repetition, and writers and readers alike hate repetitive writing. As there's too much repetition, and writers and readers alike hate repetitive writing. Whoops. So yeah, repetition just sucks, period. But what can we do to remedy this travesty? Easy. We incorporate pronouns to create more flow and dimensionality. In other words, we sprinkle in a pronoun here and there to make the paragraph more fun and interesting. Let the sprinkling commence. John is a man. He works at a bank. A coworker of his borrows a pencil from him. And just like that, a beautiful paragraph was born. Before, John was used a total of 4 times in a 3-sentence paragraph. This, my friends, simply won't do. Maybe it would be acceptable for an amateur, but you are a scholar destined for bigger and greater things. As a highly astute scholar, you probably noticed that we kept John for the first sentence and saved the pronouns for the following 2. We did this in order to establish the fact that we know the exact person we are talking about, John. If we know who or what we are talking about, we should use their title first, otherwise pertinent details are lost. After referencing the exact person, place, thing, or idea first, however, it is then safe and preferred to incorporate pronouns into the mix. The conversation could end here, but honestly, what's the fun in that? After all, we can discuss the different types of pronouns because just as all nouns, adjectives, verbs, etc. are not created equally, pronouns are not all the same. There are 4 main categories of pronouns. Subject pronouns, object pronouns, possessive pronouns, and demonstrative pronouns. To begin, let's discuss subject pronouns. A subject pronoun functions as the subject in a sentence. In case you are in desperate need of a refresher, the subject is referring to the main idea of the sentence, i.e., what or who the sentence is all about. Take the following sentence. I need to go to the store on Monday. Who needs to go to the store on Monday? I need to go. So I is the subject of the sentence, and I is also a pronoun, making it a subject pronoun. To clarify, I is a singular first-person pronoun, meaning that I can be used only when referring to oneself and no one else. The other subject pronouns are as follows. You. You is the second-person singular subject pronoun used to directly address a single individual. He. He is the third-person singular subject pronoun for one individual that identifies as male. Unlike I and you, he and the other third-person singular subject pronouns are used when referring to a male who is not being directly addressed. She. She is the female equivalent of he and is therefore used in exactly the same way. It. Like he and she, it is also a third-person singular subject pronoun. Unlike he and she, however, it is more vague when it comes to gender. We often use it for inanimate objects, animals, and concepts. We. Now we are getting into the plural subject pronouns. We is first-person plural and is used to refer to oneself along with at least one other individual. You. Earlier we learned that you is second-person singular, but you can also be plural. They. Finally, we have they, which is the third-person plural subject pronoun. Traditionally, they is used to refer to multiple people or items. However, they can also be used as a third-person singular subject pronoun. Next, we have object pronouns. Subject pronouns are pronouns that function as subjects. Object pronouns are pronouns that function as, you guessed it, objects. And there is a corresponding object pronoun for every subject pronoun. Please forgive me for the unholy number of times I just used the word pronoun. Me is the first-person singular object pronoun. Warning: this next object pronoun may be confusing because it is exactly the same as its subject pronoun counterpart. You. In addition to being a first-person singular and second-person plural subject pronoun, you can also be an object pronoun. Oh dear. During these times, context becomes more important than ever. But don't worry, determining the differences among all of these forms of you will become easier with time and practice. Him. Just as he is the third-person singular subject pronoun for a male individual, him is the object pronoun equivalent. Her. While him is for a male individual, her is for a female person or animal. It. Not unlike you, it can be either a subject pronoun or an object pronoun, depending on its role in a sentence. Either way, it is always third-person singular and used to replace gender-unspecific nouns. us. Us is the objective version of the first person plural subject pronoun we. You. Crap, you is back yet again. Yes, you can also play the role as the second person plural object pronoun. Them. Them is the objective version of they, and just like they, them is typically used in the third person plural voice, though it is also acceptable to use them to refer to a single individual when their preferred gender is unknown to the speaker. Possessive pronouns. Following the same pattern, each possessive pronoun corresponds to one of the subject pronouns. Possessive pronouns indicate ownership. Mine. Mine is used when referring to something that one owns personally. Yours. When directly addressing one individual, yours is used to describe a possessive relationship between that single individual and an item. His. His is the possessive pronoun used when referring to a male individual in the third person. Hers is the feminine form of the third person possessive pronoun. Its. Although its is technically a possessive pronoun, it is not usually used in modern English and therefore sounds incredibly awkward and unnatural. For this reason, there's no need to worry about its. Ours. Corresponding to the first person singular subject pronoun we, ours shows an ownership between oneself and one or more individuals. Yours. Yours can refer to either one individual or a group of individuals. Whether it's singular or plural, yours is always used in the second person to directly address someone and indicate ownership. Theirs. When indirectly addressing two or more people, theirs is used to demonstrate possession. Demonstrative pronouns. There are 4 demonstrative pronouns: this, these, that, and those. This. This is used to replace a single noun when said noun is within close range. These. Like this, these is used to replace nouns that are close by. Unlike this, however, these is used to replace plural nouns. That. That replaces a singular noun that is far away from the speaker. Those. Those replaces plural nouns that are far away. Next, it is important we discuss other types of pronouns that still fall under one of the previous main categories, but are rather specific and commonly used. Indefinite pronouns. An indefinite pronoun can be either a subject pronoun or an object pronoun based on how it is used in the sentence. These types of pronouns are used to replace vague nouns for which the specific details are unclear. Interrogative pronouns. Interrogative pronouns are used to pose questions about unknown nouns. Reflexive pronouns. Reflexive pronouns are typically used when the subject and object are the same. Although reflexive pronouns typically fall under the object pronoun category, they fall under the subject pronoun category when used for emphasis.